Good morning, ladies. My name is Chaz, and welcome to the What If Deku Had the Eclipse Rainbow Sword. This is a combined sword of the most iconic sword that was owned by her. The one that she's like standing in a pose thing. Well, she actually, it's called Dead End Rainbow. Like basically dead end, basically the end, rainbow sword. Where, so plus she's also in the story too. So Eclipse, rainbow sword, is also a fused form of that and a sword that's named Life Beginning Rainbow Sword. It's the opposite of the Dead End Rainbow Sword, where instead of taking or destroying a human soul, it destroys people's nightmares. Or should I say, absorbing her nightmares. And it has so many abilities that I'm not even gonna tell you what they are until after this video. I promise. So, yeah. So, let's begin. So, let's say Zuko, the main character of the story, has two siblings. Zumi is one of them. And the other, I can never pronounce her name correctly, so I'm just gonna, basically, hold on. Let me copy this real quick, because I desperately trying to find the image.
Hinata Sakaguchi.
Yeah. This one.
Hinata Sakaguchi.
Yeah. So let me close that out. So yeah. She will be the similar to what she is in the anime, but I changed her role from being a person that was summoned to a world. She was born as a Midoriya, so technically her full name would be Midoriya.
Hinata Sakaguchi Midoriya.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, because she was the first born, followed by Izumi. And then, because they were born on the same day, but at different times. She was born first, Zumi was born second, and her brother was born third. Or Zuko was born fourth. Or third. Sorry. So yeah. So, yeah. So during a time skip, or so let's go for age of 2 years old, or 3, where I'm going a little bit into the like love life thing more, like romantic stuff, instead of like straight up like how most YouTubers are in the like when they're making these what ifs. So I picked, or so for her, and no, I'm not like talking about like, I was gonna pick the grapefruit kid hen, but I was like, no. She has too of a fiery passion. And plus the guy, or the grapefruit kid, or should I say Manatter, I never could say his name properly. To like, yeah. I chose for her is actually Todoroki. Or no, actually Bakugo. Actually, I chose Bakugo. Because, yeah. So then but sometimes she sometimes that she says that sometimes that she wishes that that if Zuko wasn't her biological brother, Hunter, then she would have probably dated him in the heartbeat. Because between Zumi and her loved their brother so much that if they if he wasn't their brother, they would have probably married him. That's how much. So, yeah. And they don't have like but who is dating him was actually Ochako. Home. So that was before the age of 4. Now the time skip to age of 4. And the quirk doctor tells Zuko that he tells her that she has quirk of sword or flame swords, or no, sword of flames that allows her to basically produce like swords that are made out of literal fire. Because she has a fiery passion. And then yeah. Basically, yeah, sorry. So, she ends up is happy about it. Like, and so then moves on to Zumi. She has a quirk that is a combined of their parents' quirk of fire manipulation. But sadly, he looked at Zuko and told him that he's quirkless. And Zuko, who's a little bit stunned by it. So, yeah. But when because they know that his sister cares about him so much, they don't give a credit if he was quirkless, including his own family. Does anyone give any credit if he was quirkless? But Bakugo, who was like bullying him for being quirkless, as everybody else, except for his own family, was making fun of him for being quirkless, useless. And they even named him Deku because that. As his heart starts to break because his own girlfriend even dumped him. As yeah. So he doesn't want to, or he ran away. Because of how much pain. So, and in this alternate timeline, there's this competition between all of them. Like, everyone believes there's a story of there's two swords. One represents the beginning and the other represents the end. But no one even found it ever since. But then, somehow, Zuko actually ended up having he had a worse luck before, like when he's quirkless. But when he created, or so he was walking around, or he did walk around in the forest, and he stumbled into a cave system. And the cave system ends up basically was a sacred cave, or actually a secret cave that everyone was trying to look for. But ever since, because Zuko walks right in, as a cave closed behind him, as he walks closer and closer to a room that had looked like destroyed pillars. Some of them are destroyed, but most of them are like, it was, both sides were painted, had like, looks like fresh paint. One side was white, the other was black. And on the wall, that had both swords colliding into each other's, dragged him into, like, controlling his body to walking up to and grabbing both of them at the same time. As both, as, yeah, as it could feel the power flowing through his own body. As it like didn't tear him to shreds, but something did change into him. So, like, basically had a overflow type of deal going into his body. Like, all of the negative dreams that he'd been having when he was just, like, he's still a kid, about 5 years old. During all that time so, when everybody, or when the life bringing, or no, not bringing, beginning Rainbow Sword was absorbed all that negativity out of his body, like his bad dreams. And yeah, it went from being like those sad moments to the happy moments where, yeah, because Zuko could feel the power drawn from, yeah, so when he, and the sleeves of the swords, like basically similar to how she has it, but it was on her, it magically just connected to his hips. So basically he has the same powers as every other ability. So when he was like, okay, this is weird. And so when he was trying to go back to where he came, the cave was caved in before, but he was trying to figure out how to, like, break free. But in order to break free, he has to defeat a monster. And the monster was the demon of, or should I say, he has to defeat Diablo in order to, like, basically to escape. As Diablo, whom is, like he says, a child. Ha 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 ha. This will be good to end your doom. As Zuko knocks the villain out with a single punch or should I say, he knocks out like a demon with a one punch. Or should I say a sword. Or as Diablo was defeated. Yeah. And so the Diablo actually had So Zuko had a choice of killing him, and be trapped there forever, or the him, or actually be, or so kill him, he goes free, and or leave him alive and the him, but they'll be both be trapped there forever, for all eternity. As Zuko's is a little bit shocked when he heard that he has to kill him to order to escape him, or leave him alive and be trapped there for all eternity. As he says, okay, as Zuko's really hesitant because he doesn't want to kill the demon, because he's always had a good heart. The demon could sense it inside of his own, or no, the demon Diablo, whom basically him was, he could sense that Zuko doesn't want to end him, but but Zuko wanted to see his family, his friends, as he basically, as he pulls out a sword, and it was he basically went up into the air, and as he looks away when he sliced right between, or cutting Diablo right in half. Killing him as Zuko was looking away. But when he turned around, and he saw what he had done, he's blaming himself. But the soul of Diablo went up and went into Zuko's body instead of vanishing. It went right into his body. I mean, both souls were now fused into one. So basically, Diablo and Zuko fused to create. I really don't know the name of it, what would their combined character would be, but it would be either the Diablo Midoriya or Zuko, or would be called ID. That's spelled Zuko Diablo Midoriya. So basically, it's, yeah, ID. I dot D dot. Yeah. So, when he left, he had such a, like, creeped out vibes that when he got back, his skin was paled white. When he got home, and his sister ran up, and they were shocked, or their family was shocked, as even Bakugo's mom was shocked of what happened. As he says, remember the story that you always told us when we were kids? As he looks at Zumi, or no, he looks at Inko and Asashi, yeah. As then they looked at his sides where the swords were at. Wait, Zuko, where did you go? I went into the secret cave that was in the forest, and when I was coming, back, or I was about to walk out, but the cave closed, like collapsed on after I went in. So I had no way out. But then after I picked the swords up, or the swords chose me, and when I was about to leave, then this big old demon creature was so I had to defeat it, and it also had, so I had two options. First one was, if I killed it, then I can basically go be free. But if I left it, then I would have been stuck there forever. And so as he had tears coming down, as he had his head lower so that no one could see him but as Inko, when she knows what he's trying to say, as Inko walks up and hugs her own son, because she knows that it must have been as her own, or so his sisters even came and hugged him. The Bakugo, or so actually, Inko said it must have been such trauma to kill a monster. Yeah. So Asashi can't believe that his own his own son killed the first demon that even, you know, but they didn't know that Diablo and Zuko, his souls fused together. So he can, basically, he is, so their combined powers is also complemented by their own ways. Like Diablo is the darkness, and Zuko is the light. So when both of them fuse to create the Zuko Diablo, or ID, Him Midoriya, is a, yeah. So his trend, or so during the time skip, they had to watch over him, and Bakugo, who was like, oh look, it's that quirkless loser, nice swords turn, as Zumi grabs Bakugo and slams him against the wall and tells him that they leave my brother alone. He needs some alone time from being bullied. As no, when Zumi told Bakugo the reason, everyone that turned had similar face. As the blades, as they all looked at Zuko, and when they looked down at his side, because they noticed that he's... Wait, are those the legendary weapons? The beginning and the end swords? As Zuko's being super quiet. And he's still traumatized. As his other sister says, yeah, but let's not talk about it. He's still traumatized of what he went through. As why? It's a great thing. We wouldn't know it existed. And as his own daughter just like says, as well, as All Might did show up before her and gives, or so when story broke out about Zuko had the two legendary blades that they all thought was made up because, yeah, as news companies even went to their house, as their sister Zumi, or should I say their sister, or their oldest sister, her was like trying to, as he, so she answered a bunch of their questions of why they aren't seeing him or aren't supposed to see him as he's traumatized. As they're like, traumatized for what? For what he had to do to break free of that place. The cave. And he doesn't want to talk to anybody because he can't. As the detective understands why Zuko, or understands what she means, and so they're all like getting everybody, all the crowd out of the way, so that the court, or so, not court doctor, the detective walks up to Zuko, that is still traumatized, as he says, as he properly introduces himself, I know you're still traumatized of what you had to choose. And I will ask your folks. As he speaks a little bit, the detective, as he's trying to say, like, detective, what would you chose? As he looks up, as his eyes had tears coming down. Because he was in so much trauma that even the chief police knows what he's referring to. To be honest, I know that it's trauma for. I know that you had to have a good heart, Zuko. You would have rather chose the singing option. But if the singing option allowed you to basically easily be stuck there forever, you made a right call, by the way. As he knows that the trauma, as everybody, so when he's out in public, he always had his two sisters always with him at all times. Because sometimes a bunch of people are like, yeah. So then at age of 15, then an exam of UA. But Principal Nezu knows that he could see Zuko, or he sees Zumi and their oldest sister, or a little bit older sister, is taking the exam, but he hasn't seen Zuko. As Zuko actually went to he was at home, or actually he goes to the Quirkless school, and so Principal Nezu asks one of the sisters, where's your brother at? Oh, because of how much pain he's been through and without a quirk, it's giving him anxiety. So, and plus he's quirkless. So, well, as Nezu says, well, actually, I know that you're, or they said, I know you're the principal, but you would probably not allow quirkless people to be. Oh, I make an exception of Zuko was already accepted to UA. And he's in class 1A. Just like with both of you will be. And so when, or actually Zuko was at a house, still traumatized, as they thought he was dead, but he's dead inside because of what he has experienced with. So, yeah. So then yeah. So when both of his sisters, or one of them walks in, Zuko, are you doing okay? I know that it's much more traumatizing of taking a person's life, or taking a life of something, but please understand, it's not your fault. As even Inko agrees that you had no choice of it. So please, I know that. As, yeah, so Zuko was still silent. Like, he still can't get over all that pain that he went through with them. So, he does eventually he joins Class 1A, and his two sisters sits right next to him on each side of him. So that when anyone that tries to bother him will end up basically, will end up getting smacked by, yeah. As Bakugo's like, why is this quirkless loser here? As the Inko, or no, not Inko, Zumi walks up, or no, actually, her walks up and like basically knocks him out. Don't you ever talk about my brother like that. He's already traumatized enough. As Tenya looks over, and he did notice that, and so he walks over. Elmer, nice to meet you. I'm Tenya Ida. As Zuko shakes his hand. Hi, I'm Zuko Midoriya. So, yeah. Because I know, so Tenya says, I know that it must have been hard for you. Yeah. as yeah, anxiety killed. Yeah, it still haunts him because he never wanted to take a life in the first place because he's kind heart. Yeah. So then the basically now Zuko oh was way more getting a little bit useful or used to the like because it was in the past and he's trying to get better at not getting or he's trying to get better of having social reactions to everybody else, but when someone brings up that and then he goes back to square one. So usually their sister either use headphones on him to cancel out the noise of it, or so when Ochako where is Ochako? Where's Ochako? Sorry. There she is. When she heard that her boyfriend, or should I say ex-boyfriend, killed his own, and she couldn't believe it. And so when she saw him all traumatized about it, she even told him that she's sorry for her. You would have had to, yeah. So then Zuko says that's okay. A quirkless kid like me killed or took his first or took the demon's first life. As he looks away from it before, like what he did when he was, because he looked away when he faced, or when he was finishing Diablo's, or to end Diablo, who? Yeah, I feel bad for Diablo because in that time I got reincarnated as slime, he's always been a side character that basically looks at Rimuru like a good person or sees him as a good master thing. And yeah, well, Zuko done stuff like that happens a lot. So but instead of him ending Chaco's life, he basically it's the same thing as Bakugo, or as everybody student in class 1A and class 1B was worried about Zuko. As one of them actually, or let's say class 1A student was trying to say, how did you do it? How did you, and as he just looks away, tries to not bring up that. And as his own sister could sense that name, he's going to do one of the two options. Just try to ignore him, or run out of a classroom because how much pain he's went through. But his sister actually did something. So she basically knocks a student out for being rude to her brother. And so, yeah, as Mr. Zawa the students were already sat down and was just waiting for Mr. Hazawa to get up. As Mr. Hazawa's like, oh, okay, let's begin. And so they do exams. As Zuko was the last one, or actually, he's the first one. As his own, so he's still traumatized, so it's just, okay. Because when he threw the ball, it landed 5.9 miles. And then as Mr. Zawa could sense that Zuko is still trauma, that's why he had bad scores about. As Mr. Zawa says, think about, or actually, as Zuko had so much trauma going through his head right now, you know how every character has like dead amount death play. There's a character that basically was super scared, and they basically was he basically, or Calamity Crusher example, he was young, he was scared that he sees all the ghosts with the evil eye thing, and so Zuko was traumatized. Because in his head, he had every voice of everyone blaming him. So he's still not talking to anyone. You killed us and murderer thing. All that stuff. So when the time skip to the USJ, Zuko was, so his sisters were more protective of him now compared to way they were before. So when Mr. Ozawa went down, or so then the ambush thing, Mr. Ozawa went and beat up most of the villains, and he was about to get killed by the this so-called Nomu, who as so Zuko's is like the pain of losing or seeing like someone else get killed, as his eyes turned green, like he turned into like a, because Diablo and Zuko became like ID, Midoriya would be, yeah. So he ends up, because both the beginning and the end, or so he used both swords, and he cut, or he used the dead end rainbow sword on the Nomu, as the Shiraki Sins laughing like, haha, you think those swords could cut through our Nomu? Please. He's more mortal. He's a embodiment of destruction. As the inner voice of Diablo talks through. Oh, I don't make that bet. I don't take that bet, or I'll take that bet, because my 7 or my sword, dead end rainbow sword, Hearn is more, or he has this low tone, but I'm not gonna do it because unless you guys want me to, I'll do it anyway. So this dead end rainbow sword bypasses any regeneration abilities that your creature has no soul after the 7th hit. So now let's finish this. As he comes in full swing, as the Nomu doesn't know how to, or doesn't know what to do, so like basically the creature, or should I say ID, slashed right at the Nomu about 6 more times. His first 2 were, or actually, yeah, first one let off a hit. So when, after he says the 7th hit, he says dead end rainbow, whose effect kicks in. As the Nomu dies, collapsed on the ground, its body shattered into bazillion pieces. As everyone could not believe the power bypasses the immortalities. Dang. As everybody's like, dang. But Momo and his two sisters were suspicion. Like, it's like them figured out that Zuko somehow absorbed the Diablo's power, or like into himself somehow. But then, so the villains retreated, and because they don't want to be sliced up and have their souls be taken. So, including the warp guy, or actually, the warp guy actually got his soul taken. And, like, he basically, yeah. So, Diablo was the embodiment of, like, darkness and, like, all that stuff. Well, the guy literally kills about. He went on a killing spree, and he killed all the villains. And yeah, he turned it into a slaughterhouse for villains. So Zuko doesn't even know what's going on. And Zuko, or as his oldest sister, knows that because she heard about Diablo and how strong and fast he would have been. But this is ridiculous. And yeah, so the students and the teachers went out, and they could literally hear screams of, "No, please, no, no, no," as, yeah. So they basically were murdered. And it went from being looking like, here, hold on. Where is it? No. Where? Oh, hold on. Where? No. No. So it went from looking like this to looking like basically, imagine a blood splattered everywhere. Yeah. And so when Zuko was, after Diablo or ID was done, when Zuko came back to as he looks down, as he's even more traumatized, like way more than before, as he went into the corner, as he basically had his head in his hands, and yeah, All Might shows up, with the pro heroes. And they see how much blood and gore splattered everywhere. And I at least have to see my brother to see if he's okay. As they looked around, as he's in the corner sobbing, like he blamed himself so much. He didn't mean to kill all of them. As their oldest sister, so Zumi knows that Zuko's it's just scared. But when she went she went in with them, and they were looking around, and they see nothing. They just see blood splattered everywhere. But then she hears her brother whimpering in the corner, like as she walks over, as she could see the blood on his hands, as he hugs him, or as she hugs him from behind and tells him, "You're okay." As he starts crying, or tears, his own sister could hear it in his voice. "I killed them. I can't believe I did it. I can't. I just can't." And as he has so much emotional, like he can't, like he blamed himself so much pain. So his own sister ends up, because she knows that how much pain Zuko goes through. And so when Zuko tells her that he didn't had no control of himself, when he did that, as the pro heroes, as everybody knows, so the pro heroes know that something went on, and yeah, as detectives, like, what happened? As he asks Mr. Aizawa first, and then students. Well, as the student says, well, 1 minute, and that, or before the teacher was gonna get killed, something triggered in Zuko that we never saw before. As I think the swords that he wields took control of him. And yeah, basically they told them, so they actually, the detective sees Zuko, but Zuko was covered in blood from head to toe, because he's still, like, he could not, as he had tears coming down his face as the detective knows that it's not his fault. He lost control of all of his emotions and yeah. So even the chief of police even says because he was there, and he told Zuko that none of this is your fault. I know that you lost control and because someone and was about to take someone's life. So when Inko got a phone call that her son or because of how much pain, so she basically came down. She heard everything about it, and she hugged her own son. She didn't care if he was all blood from the tip of his head but she wanted to hug him. So she basically takes him in to the back home with her daughters, or actually their daughters went back to school home, and everybody felt so bad about Zuko. So when he went in and to the shower and like basically all the blood went off of him as he had major flashbacks of what happened. Like, he slaughtered all of them. He slaughtered all the villains that was there. And, yeah. So, it's so emotional that when he came out of the shower, he had some fresh clothes already ready for him. As he came in, as Inko comforts him, like basically tries to say, I know that it's not your fault. It was the swords. And as she tucked the swords away away from her own son so that to not have them as trauma still hugs Zuko. Or she basically knows how much pain Zuko went through. We shouldn't. As now back at classroom, every student blames themselves because if he didn't call him quirkless or bullied him around, none of that would have happened. And as even Bakugo was like have confidence about like him, yeah, and some of the students like after school, some of the students even and like punched Bakugo around. Because yeah, of that. So yeah. So then Yeah. So, yeah. So then a time skip. I'm skipping over the sports festival because Zuko wasn't there, as Mr. Zawa lets everyone know, or should I say Midnight actually lets everyone know who that Zuko isn't here because the incident that happened at USJ. Just to let you all guys know, it wasn't his fault. Huh. As everybody's like, yeah. As Class 1A, Class 1B. So, in honor to like have Zuko, whom, honor to honor what Zuko would have been here, we will have one of his sisters come up and be the represent, as they chose her as she comes up, and yeah, and Zuko, who is a kind person, and I want me or so me or rest of us, me and my sister wanted to win in the sports festival so that to honor our brother, because our brother, I know he's traumatized, but he wishes that he wanted to be here, to participate, but he's too traumatized to like take any, or to battle and to show off. Yeah, so as Class 1A, Class 1B agrees, as everybody in the audience knows, it must have been, or they all heard rumors, and rumors are true, that the Zuko is the pinnacle. Yeah. So they thought, because of how much pain. So, yeah, so Zuko, who was watching the TV with his mother and his father there, and so Todoroki actually has respect for Zuko. He sees Zuko as a twin brother, respects him as a person. So, in order to prove that to Zuko that he cares about him, he'll win the one without using his own father's power. So then yeah. So he won the race. He also won the Calver battle, but the fight won because he actually is in love with, or not Zumi. I meant her. Yeah. And because Zumi was in love with Bakugo, or was, but then Bakugo actually, he pretends, or when he's out in public, he's like the bad person kind of vibes. But when he's at home or at Zuku's or Midoriya's, he's kind heart. Like, he sees Zuku as a brother too. And but he felt so bad that so Bakugo won or actually Todoroki won all 3 matches. And so Zumi came in 3rd. Bakugo came in 2nd. And Todoroki came in 1st. And Todoroki told everybody that this is to honor Zuko too. Because I don't see him as a friend. You know who I see him as? My own brother. I care about him as the same thing as how his own sisters see him as. Yeah. Same. So, yeah. So, basically, and so when he gave, basically, to, yeah. So, Zumi ends up, and everybody was a little bit stunned that but Endeavor's mad because Zuko didn't, or no, not Zuko, Endeavor, or no, Todoroki didn't use his fire until but as he promised, he won without using his fire. So then the time skip. So Zuko actually went out to, during the fight scene. So, but the blade randomly appeared, and Zuko, as he could hear, or he saw Tenya as his brother runs across into the hallway of the between two buildings as he looks over and he sees Hero Killer Stain and Hero Killer Stain's about to end. But then Zuko ooze as he walks or as Inko or actually Zuko walks up or he's so stunned that he can't control. But then then his number two person, or should I say their combined personality, or I still call it ID, I.D. took over and, well, any last words to say to Hero Killer Stain? Tell me in the comments below and I'll pin on it. Basically, put a heart on it. If you, like, yeah. Because what happens next is Hero Killer Stain was end up the one getting murdered by ID. As Zuko, or should I say ID, and the reason why I'm saying ID, like I.D. means Zuko Diablo Midoriya. So when he went back to normal, he, as Tenya's brother, could, because everybody knows Zuko. So in order to like not have him go through more trauma, like more and more, so Tenya's brother covers Zuko's eyes before her and walks away. As he point, as it, I know it's, so he says to Zuko that that that's why I covered your eyes. Because we all know that you are her trauma when you see the blood spewing. That's why I had to cover your eyes. As when Tenya's brother came up the stairs and knocks on the door and like comes right in, or actually Zumi, or no, in home got told by Tenya's brother that because Tenya's brother saw what the Zuko's monster form looks like, with two blades. Hangs. And yeah. So Zuko was still, or so they haven't watched any horror movies with blood in it because, yeah, of that. So when Zuko actually, yeah, so after that, Inko and, or Asashi was a pro hero, and he worked with Tenya's brother. And when both of them went down and saw how much blood from, yeah. Sometimes I don't know what's going on with. It's like more trauma every time, and plus, what did my son look like when he did my son do this? As Tenya's his brother is like, I think the between I think your brother or no, I think Zuko or your son had like a because sometimes because actually a let's say a church guy comes, a church hero comes, and because he heard that Zuko was the only one that actually had the truth and or has the swords that was chosen by or he was chosen by the swords. So when the Sashi was telling Zuko that he yeah, Sashi told or asked him, so what's going on with my son? Because the church hero, oh, that's his literal name, church hero that looks like Mr. Ozawa, so tells Zuko, or no, tells Sashi that I think somehow your son and or so the Diablo, the guardian of the swords thing that got killed by your son, somehow transferred his own soul into your son's body. You're saying my son was the one that got killed. No, 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 no. He still lives. But as when Zuko was sleeping, and Diablo's is, or as the church guy comes in, Zuko's hair turns black, and Zuko's eyes were black on the outside and green on the inside. So the church hero has dealt with demons before, but this one's different. As when Zuko talked, or when he sounds a lot like Diablo sounds. Why, did you choose to me reincarnated into this body? Oh, I wasn't reincarnated. I simply fused my own soul into his soul. Like, basically, he and I are the same person. Like, we both fused. Like, thinking about fusion. You take one item, like a pen, and an apple. Fuse them together to create Apple Pen. And that's an example. But mine and his fused equal to create this immortal body. I know he's in pain, but he's not the one that's killing the villains in the hero or at the USJ. I was killing all the villains. And yeah, as Diablo and talks like how Zuko talks, but a little bit more drama. I can't even more deeper tone than what you hear in the movies or anime TV shows. So, yeah. Look at this. I was the one that killed all the villains at USJ and all that stuff. Now, no, it is time. That's why he's just saw the aftermath. And I was also the one. I chose him to be a person to be fused with. Because or because of all of rest of you I can't even say it. You guys chose to ignore, or I ignored all of the candidates to be fused with, except for him. As he puts his hand right on Circus's chest. So he and I are now one and the same. Because we are now no longer Diablo or Zuko. We are ID. Capital I and capital D. So it's basically .I.D. To like, yeah. So when Zuko told, or when Diablo told them that yeah. So then the pro heroes, they try to get him out of there, like defuse them. But they would just leave them. So, because, yeah, Zuko is like, basically, so, he is the embodiment, or so ID is the embodiment of Chaos Lord, or is a Chaos Lord. It would be a lot higher than the Demon Lords, and Yeah. So now, yeah, I am adding a lot of details into this what if storyline, and yeah. So a time skip to All Might versus All for One, where his, let's say his sister, his oldest sister, like basically he, or so she got captured, and so All Might was down, like he was, oh, let me, so he was still standing as he can't move his arms, he can't move his legs, but All for One says it is time for you to die, as his sister sees, as when he or she ran and pushed All Might out of the way, as Zuko sees this, and Diablo Home sees this as the same thing. So when their both voices combined, we will make him purr, as this part, or will have music going of him like transforming into a monster, but he also carries a sword that is called eclipse rainbow sword. Yeah, eclipse sword, or eclipse rainbow sword. And yeah, he basically used it, as he says, or he flew all the way across the city under a nanosecond, and he says that you killed my friend, or no, you killed my sister. It is time for you to die. As he slices All for One around, like, yeah, he turned All for One into a bacon strip. Like, basically chopped him up. And, yeah. So, so his swords, or his sword becomes back to normal swords, as he basically put his own dead sister's hand on it, as he lets go, as he says the three words, or he says one word: revive. As he uses his own, or he uses the power that of the nightmares that Zuko's had, he basically brought her back to life without any ill side effects. As the wounds on her came like back, like bloop, done. As the sword returns back to its regular slot. As she's terrified of, like when she got up, she's terrified of her own brother. When she saw what he looked like. Let's head home. Home, little sister. Or sister. As many villains villains were like, "You killed all for one, and we won't let you escape." And they like runs in like slow motion as Zuko's who's his true powers manifested. And so, yeah, Zuko looked more like less human and more of a demon that was created. So, yeah, Zuko looked like that as he sliced, or they both, or so he used all of his tendrils and he killed all of the villains. The remaining villains, dead. Yeah. As he looks at his own sister and tells her, "Let's head home." Home. When I go back to human, it will be traumatized. I'll be traumatized. Or he will be traumatized if I... Yeah, I agree. As every pro hero and citizens agree. So they all like escorted him out with his sister. And when he went, or they, like after he took a shower, he went to bed. And yeah. So then he was back to human form as he gets up. As the light sword took away all that bad dream thing. Like he had a great dream thing. As Zuko knows that he has vague memories, like of what happened. But he knows that, how's your side doing? Well, as he's wondering to his daughter, or no, not his daughter, his sister, that as he's, I remember her I'm trying to remember, because I remember you got shot in the chest. Yeah. My chest is doing good. So, yeah. And how did you, and I know that it's too traumatized. He's too yeah. So, yeah. So if you guys need more information about what happened when he went to bed, was that they basically made sure that there was no backlash to having a sword that instantly revives somebody by just... But Zuko and Diablo actually know one thing. When he killed, or should I say when ID was killing the Nomu and Kirigiri, he noticed that the court doctor experimented on him, as he kind of so Kirigiri actually, his good soul, the one that we all know, spoilers if you guys don't know who I'm talking about, was My Hero Academia Cloud. Okay. This boy right here. So, his soul got purged out of, like, basically from All for One, evil essence stuff. And so, when Zuko can bring him back to life, so in the forest, away from everybody, he actually came. So he used he brings back him to life. As he's smiling. He still smiles. And he's been revived back to way that he was before. As yeah, he's not Kirigiri. He's actual Cloud Boy thing. So yeah, if you guys want me to do so when Zuko or Diablo or ID him, that's a better name I came up with. So please don't think that I'm trying to think of different names. So when Zuko actually tells him what has happened before, and yeah, he's like, huh, is that really all that happened? Huh. So then Zuko actually went up. So after, yeah, so he went to the court doctor, or Zuko went to the court doctor. It was evil layer, basically. And he killed the court doctor. Zuko, or should I say Diablo. Because they both share the same consciousness and all that stuff. But Diablo actually tells Zuko that they let me kill him, and so that it wouldn't be, you will not remember it, okay? Okay, but please wash the blood off if... Yeah, I have a promise. And so he does. He kills the court doctor and he wipes off the blood off of him before. So that they... Yeah. And then, after that, and the... Yeah, so he destroyed the entire factions. And so, except there was one quirk left. And Diablo could sense it belongs to Zuko Midoriya himself. Because he could sense Zuko's... Or he could sense essence of Zuko's quirk. Or he used to have a quirk, but then they... Yeah. So, it's a good plot twist, isn't it? And so, Zuko was basically telling... Or so, Diablo, or should I say ID, grabs Zuko's quirk, and he grabs a syringe and basically injects himself, and the quirk actually went went to the Zuko, like gave it back to him. And Zuko's quirk is the most powerfulest quirk in the entire world. He has the powers of infinite zero. So that makes him way more powerful, way more dangerous person in the entire world. And yeah, that makes him the way more of a, yeah. So Zuko has 2 things. Or no, actually he has 6 things inside of him. So basically he has Diablo fused with him. He has 2 blades. Haynes that converses for like combining into one. And he has 2 sisters. And he has a 1 quirk that has 2 different powers built into it. And so all that makes Zuko way more powerful. Or should I say ID. So now it is time to like, so when they came back, Mr. Zawa was like, or actually let's say Zuko showed up to school way early and he looked at Razorheads as basically sleeping. Or actually, he's looking around, and Music Mike sees him. Huh, there you are, Zuko. It's been a long time since how are you doing, my way? Oh, good. And I'm here for picking up you 2. You and Mr. Ozawa. Because I have a little surprise for both of you. Okay. Mr. Ozawa's sleeping. Yeah. It revolves around your old friend. And that I believe that you both know him. Okay. I'll go get him. So then he wakes up Mr. Ozawa. And they both came outside and like went right into the forest. And they see their old friend and the Cloud Boy still living. As he says, "What's up? Long time no see." As Zuko's like, or they're like looking at Zuko, "How did you bring him back?" Or they realize that he's been revived. Yeah. When the ID killed the Kirigiri part, then I could sense that the Cloud Boy was still alive. So in order to bring him back to life, I used my sword, that's my life beginning rainbow sword, to bring him back to life. And so, yeah. So then, yeah, that's a pretty powerful sword. Yeah. So then, so Zuko says, that's not all I did. The quirk doctor that experimented on they was also, he did something that the he realized. So as the group sticks his hand out, because the Eraserhead was like wondering what he's doing, but the portal. So because of Zuko says, as he shows, because they didn't know that Zuko actually, because Cloud Boy actually went with them and all that stuff, and Zuko actually, or so the Cloud Boy knows that the, so it's a power of infinity and zero, or infinite zero is Zuko's quirk, or is my quirk. So you did have a quirk before, but the quirk doctor took it, yes. So then so the next day, first of all, Music Mike tells Zuko, you're such an overpowered character. Yeah. Man, I feel like I need to protect my sisters more than they need to protect me from it. Yeah. That's one regret that I always think about. So then the next day, Zuko comes in as his own sisters are like, because they know that he wanted to protect, or they know that they care about him. They're doing okay. There are no injuries and I'm okay. But I'm just a little bit upset. Or actually, Mr. Zawa answers for Zuko that he's just tired out. So then the overhaul arc, and Zuko was so when overhaul was about to end his life, because he was in his monster form and he was about to crush them both, Zuko's full power manifested. It created as he ran faster than any normal person could, and he ends up killing Overhaul in about 2 nanoseconds. That's pretty fast, yeah. And so, with that much power Zuko has, So, when Sir Night told everybody that Zuko did have a quirk before, but the court doctor stole the... So he basically explains... And so... Yeah, and it feels like it was time for me to step it up to protect all of you from the... Like... I don't want any of you to get killed by me. Or you don't get killed by anyone. And as Ochako actually... So, like, she basically spends time with Zuko more than ever. So when she told him that she really wasn't, or she didn't actually dump him, it was just the reaction. So, yeah. So she ends up basically telling Zuko that he's is her love interest. So basically, like, she's interested in him. And so everybody agrees, and yeah. So 3 people got married. Zumi got married to Bakugo. She gets married to Todoroki. And Zuko gets married to Ochako. And so, because also during the same time, Diablo, or should I say ID, I.D, tells, or actually, he gets married to Momo Home. So technically, both Zuko gets married to Momo and Ochako. So technically, because yeah. So then but it's actually Diablo getting married to Momo, and the Zuko gets married to Ochako. So, yeah. So then they all had kids, and I'm not just gonna, like, basically give them all names, because Zumi had 2 kids, Zuko had 2 kids, and she had 3 kids. Or actually, hold on. And so Diablo, or should I say ID, because the power, or because he was fused with Zuko, he also had 2 kids. So that is 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 kids, and I'm not going to name them all. That would be up to your imagination. So, and have a good night or day, depends on the time zones, and please leave a like, share, subscribe, comment, and I know this took 2 hours, but that's okay. This is just a full movie, and it takes a long time to edit, and so I'm not gonna actually put any music in because I'm not feel like it. So, peace.